my name is Nicole Castro, and my topic is celiac disease, a gluten-free diet, and the quality of the diet. First, definition: celiac disease is a condition of the human system in which people cannot consume gluten because it damages their small intestine. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. It can also be found in vitamin supplements, hair and skin products. Celiac disease can develop at any age after people start eating food or medicine that contain gluten. In this disease, there is a genetic component, so it's more frequent in certain families. A video.
Celiac disease is the condition that causes me to get sick whenever I eat foods that have gluten. 1 in every 100 people has celiac disease, which is not really rare at all. Gluten is a protein that comes from wheat, barley, and rye. Even if there's only a tiny bit of gluten that I can't even see in food, I still can't eat it because it could make me sick. One of the hardest things about having celiac disease is making sure these tiny bits of gluten don't get into my food. There are many ways that people with celiac disease may feel sick when they eat gluten. Some people may get belly aches. Some people may stop growing. Some people may break their bones too easily. Others may not feel bad at all, but they may still hurt their body if they eat gluten. Celiac disease affects a part of your body called the small intestine. It is a long tube that helps us digest food. The small intestine is not smooth. Instead, it has lots and lots of small finger-like projections called villi, which help you absorb nutrients. If you have celiac disease, the gluten in some food will cause the villi in your intestine to become flattened or injured. This will make you sick because your body can't use the good stuff it needs from the food you eat, and your intestines can become inflamed. But if you avoid foods that contain gluten, the villi in your intestines will heal. Your belly will stop hurting. You may start to grow again. You may feel better than before. If you have celiac disease, you should avoid all foods that have gluten in them. This is called the gluten-free diet. There are lots of good foods that you can eat that are gluten-free, but sometimes it's hard to know what foods are safe to eat. The people at the Colorado Center for Celiac Disease can help you learn about the gluten-free diet so you can feel better and live a happy and healthy life.
Application nutrition, the food, diet, and nutrition play an important role in the treatment of the celiac disease. You're advised to maintain a gluten-free diet, avoiding all gluten-containing products. Is it possible to maintain a balanced diet with a variety of foods that don't include the gluten? When celiac eat gluten, the immune system reacts to gluten by attacking the lining of the small intestine. A video.
Did your provider suggest trying a gluten-free diet? If so, you've probably been having digestive problems like wheat allergy, celiac disease, or non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Let's start by talking about what gluten is. Then we will talk about gluten-related diseases and how the diet might help. Gluten is a protein naturally made by wheat, barley, and rye. Remember, food has 3 types of building blocks: fat, protein, and carbohydrates. While we tend to think of protein as a meat, plants make a lot of it too, and different plants make different kinds. The gluten protein is unique because its 2 parts, gliadins and glutenins, trap water and get sticky when they're wet, like glue. This is why wheat, barley, and rye flours are great for making doughs and batters. During baking, their stickiness also helps trap rising air bubbles so that breads and cakes become fluffy. A gluten-free diet primarily leaves out food made from flour, but the tricky part is finding places where gluten tends to hide. Oats are another possible hiding place. They don't naturally make gluten, but are often contaminated by wheat grown in nearby fields or processed by the same machines. The complete list of products that have gluten can feel long and somewhat random when you're first starting a gluten-free diet. This is why professionals trained in nutrition are available to help. Remember, for the most part, wheat, barley, and rye are the only natural sources of gluten. This makes other food groups automatically gluten-free. The other grains are typically safe too. Corn, rice, and nutrient-packed quinoa, for example, don't make gluten on their own. For people who want to bake, there are even gluten-free flours. These are either made from plants that naturally don't make gluten, or they are made from wheat and have had the gluten removed and replaced by xanthan gum. That brings us to the next question.
Who should be on a gluten-free diet?
The most common gluten-related disorders are wheat allergy, celiac disease, and non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Wheat allergy is a strong allergic reaction to wheat proteins that causes some people to suddenly have severe difficulty breathing. You may know people who have had similar reactions to peanuts or bee stings. Wheat allergies are dangerous, but very rare. Celiac disease, on the other hand, is an autoimmune disease. When people with this disease eat gluten, the immune system flares up and damages the intestines. Inflammation makes it hard for them to absorb enough nutrients and puts these people at risk for weak bones, anemia, and unhealthy weight loss. The third disease is non-celiac gluten sensitivity. This one is less well defined. The symptoms are similar to celiac disease, but are caused by a different set of triggers. Some researchers prefer to call it non-celiac wheat intolerance in particular. They've studied whether it could be a reaction to a carbohydrate in wheat called fructan instead of the gluten protein. It could also be driven by enzymes in wheat called amylase trypsin inhibitors. For people with wheat allergy and celiac disease in particular, avoiding gluten completely is essential for their health. On the other hand, if you don't have a gluten-related disorder, you don't need to avoid it. The gluten-free diet isn't the type that helps you lose weight or build muscle. It can be low on B vitamins and folate, since gluten-free flours are typically not fortified. And it is missing out on the polyunsaturated fats and fiber in whole wheat that are known to benefit cholesterol and blood pressure. Whole wheat is usually a good thing. So that's it. Just remember, if you are wondering whether you should go gluten-free, you need to see your provider first. This is important for timing. Remember those 3 diseases we talked about? If you start the diet on your own and your body is not exposed to gluten any longer, the test could miss the diagnosis. The second reason is guidance. Remember all of those places gluten likes to hide? If it turns out that you do have a gluten-related disease, you will need help learning about your new diet. A professional trained in nutrition will teach you what you need to avoid. They will also teach you about the new foods you can enjoy, like naturally gluten-free whole grains that are important for your health. They will help you make the right adjustments and customize your diet for you. Thanks for watching.
Pros and cons. Pros, flours are eliminated, causing a lower intake of carbohydrate and therefore better weight control. Foods contain gluten are replaced by fresher and more natural ones, increasing the consumption of fruit and vegetables. Cons for non-celiac patients who want to lose weight. Gluten is the only protein that cannot be broken down by the body. A gluten-free diet can cause constipation or diarrhea because of the little fiber that is eaten. A video.
If you have celiac disease, you need to eliminate foods with gluten from your diet. Hi, I'm Dr. Griffin Rogers, Director of the National Institute of Diabetes, Digestive, and Kidney Diseases at NIH. A gluten-free diet means not eating foods that contain gluten, a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. If you have celiac disease, removing gluten from your diet will control symptoms, heal existing damage to the small intestine, and prevent further damage over time. Your doctor may suggest that you work with a dietitian to create a gluten-free diet plan. The dietitian can help you understand how to read food labels and identify gluten-containing foods at the grocery store or eating out. The good news is that there are many healthy, gluten-free foods available, and most people recover completely on a gluten-free diet. For more information,
uses applied in the Ecuador. A scientist member of the genetic research team at Equinoxia Technology University has explained that celiac disease is a misdiagnosed by doctors in Ecuador. For a person to be diagnosed, they must have a biopsy and see how the epithelium is. But if the procedure is not done correctly, years can go by without diagnosis. In conclusion, celiac disease is an autoimmune inflammatory disorder of the small intestine triggered by gluten and is a very common chronic disease. It occurs more commonly in relatives of celiac patients and in some at-risk groups. It causes gastrointestinal symptoms, predominantly chronic diarrhea with wasting, but also many extra intestinal manifestations that can be present alone. Thank you.